Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Sagittarius. If Sagittarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so our card tonight is the Six of Discs, which has everything to do with success. And I hope this reading works out. I recorded a different Sagittarius reading last night, and the audio was messed up. So that's why it's a day late, and had to redo it. So here we are. Okay, let's see what these tea leaves have to say. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. Okay, so we have a 93. Pretty large here. It's 9 and a 3. 93 all. Okay, so we have a face coming out right here. 1, 2 eyes, a nose, a bit of a mouth, maybe the side of the head here. Kind of gazing down, and we'll follow that gaze over this way to see. Okay. So I'm looking, and it looks like we have another 3 here, and I keep looking at this right here, and to me, it reminds me of a pot. Actually reminds me of, I used the Lotteria cards, and they're usually like for bingo, right? Kind of a bingo type game, and I use them for divination every day. I like them. I like the colors. I like the pictures, and there's a pan on there. It's kind of like well, something that maybe you would soak maybe potatoes in, or something like this. And whenever I get this card, I've kind of created my own meanings to go along with each symbol for the day, you know, of course. And so when I see this, it is a sense of gaining resources, gaining some kind of thing in the material world. I do think of it as like a cooking tool, something you would find in the kitchen or the garden or something like this. So when I get the card, I think, okay, so this is going to be a time when the things that I need are going to find a way into my hands, right? I will have to probably, work for them, of course. They're not just going to show up, although they might, right? Sometimes, you think, man, I really like to, here's a good example, and this will be coming up in a few months here. I'd really like to make a rhubarb pie. Well, I don't grow rhubarb. I don't have established rhubarb, I should say. And luckily, I have plenty of neighbors who have it, and I have a couple of family people around me, a couple of my acquired family who do. And so I'm lucky enough once in a while to get a nice Ziploc full of rhubarb. Even better if it's already been cut and washed, right? What a blessing. So this is just an example. Maybe you'll get rhubarb. I don't know. But I do see we have a person here and looking down at the pan. And I think, yeah, there's this sense of hoping for something to come through. Something that you have been, wanting or needing. And I do think that the universe is going to be working in your favor here. The universe is always working in your favor. Sometimes not in ways that we really like, right? Other times, yeah, definitely. It's like hitting a jackpot. We are, receiving the blessings, the gifts that we truly desire. And I think that this is kind of the energy of the time here. Okay, let's see. Now we have kind of a sphinx here. And now we know that there's a variety of kinds of sphinx, right? Not the cat, which we know. We have TT around here. We're not talking about her. If you've watched any of the readings, she visits often. I think she might not now. I tucked her into bed. She's all warm in there with Dad, so she might not come to see us this reading. But then we also have the Egyptian or the Greek Sphinx. And these are, different a little bit. This one I would say is more like the Egyptian, which, we know, the Great Sphinx. Kind of a cat-faced being laying on its stomach with its two legs kind of jutting out and kind of a serene, but a little bit stern kind of, almost you would think is somebody looking a million miles away, right? And this is kind of the contemplation, the deeper mysteries of our life. And we know that the Sphinx is the one that gives us the riddles. And I think that that's maybe more the Greek Sphinx, and I'm kind of mixing this up maybe in my mind. But I think the Egyptian Sphinx is more along the lines of the keeper of knowledge, right? Supposedly, the Library of Alexandria, or, one of its... obviously, it's not in Alexandria, it's in Giza, but a library was in there somewhere, right? I don't know. I've never been. But some kind of collection of ancient knowledge at some point was there. This is what the mythology says. So a keeper of knowledge, a keeper of the mysteries, the contemplation over millennia, right? And on and on and on, right? So here we are. We're in a place where we're thinking, in this card, the 6 of discs, we will look at just for a second here. In the center, we have the cross, but we also have the rose, which is open. Okay. And I always look at this and I think, is that a rose or is it a marigold? I don't know. But it is the unfurling, the blossoming. When the flower is open like this is the revealing of its secrets. Now, the rose is often related to, and we know in popular culture now, to the Rosicrucians, but also the rosy, sub rosa. I'm sorry. I was going to say the rosy crux, but that's also the Rosicrucians. The sub rosa, the hidden, okay, the hidden knowledge. And so when we see these symbols, We know the universe is speaking to us. The divine is speaking to us. This is where we're getting our spiritual downloads. This is where, we are in an awakened state, not frenzied. Okay, not frenzied, but in a state of long and enduring exploration. Okay, far, far in those corridors of the holy temple. If you could imagine, coming into your awakening suddenly in life, having the revelation, things don't seem quite, or aren't exactly as they seem, right? They don't seem as solid as we maybe once thought they were. I think there's a point in everybody's life, at least most people that are here watching this reading, where it strikes you as odd. I mean, the world just seems odd, a little uncanny. Things seem like they don't fully make sense. You start to see the seams of it all kind of coming loose, and everything begins to seem a little bit more like a facade. Now, I don't mean to imply this in a way that is scary or, I don't know how to say it exactly. I'm always thinking of how can we talk about this where it is not really that upsetting. It is, but it is. It can be. It can be very discombobulating, right? But the thing of it is, it's always been like this. It's always been like this. Everything that we know is made up. That doesn't mean it's not real or it doesn't matter, but everything is made up. Today I was just talking to my daughter about how when you're born, you don't have a name. She couldn't believe this. What do you mean? What do you mean we don't have a name? Well, you're born and somebody, your parents usually, they choose a name for you. And now you might have a sacred name, and you might have a name that is revealed to you later on. Maybe this is a name that is more deeply tied to you. I don't know. But your name is chosen, and it is made up. It is not exactly who you are. It is a part of who you are, but it's not you. It's an expression of some part of you. And, she said, oh, okay. Well, can I name all of my stuffed animals? Well, yeah, of course. And so, in a wider sense, this is what life is. Everything is made up. And so, yeah, sometimes we get to a point where it's like, this seems odd. Life seems like it's not necessarily always running correctly, right? The program is a little bit glitchy, and so we have these awakenings, and we have these awakenings, and we have these awakenings, and we decide at some point, hopefully, to enter the temple, to enter our interior space, to go into ourselves, to begin to cultivate a place for ourselves, a place for our mini selves. And I like to, picture it as a lot of things. Usually a house. This is a popular one. Or, as Teresa of Avila said, the interior mansion, the interior castle is populated by many rooms, many aspects of self, many places where we are deeply tied to the divine, the expressions of the divine, where they meet us emotionally, spiritually. And every room is quite different. And so I think of, you know, this kind of symbol as a reminder. You're on this path. And it's amazing that you are at all. That is a success in itself. Be good to yourself. Take care of yourself as you travel. It's easy to fall into these, you know, there are little pitfalls, especially in the beginning times, I think, where we compare ourselves to others. Even, I mean, I read beautiful poets and, you know, occult authors or religious authors. Beautiful words, beautiful experiences, things that I hope that one day I will even glimpse a fraction of where they have been, how they have felt. But it's not, you know, it's not for me. It's not for me to lament. It's distractive. It's distractive. But it's also in our nature. You know, we learn a lot by comparing our experience with others. So, I think the further you get into the mysteries, though, you become more established in your experience there. And I think that you're getting to that place. Now, I want to look at this one. As we've turned it, we can see we have a person standing here. They are holding some kind of bottle. It really kind of looks like that very stereotypical oil lamp. And we know the oil lamp is related to the jinn, or the genie. So these are the wishes, right? Now, the thing about having wishes, the thing about coming into this kind of luck, is that we must be very careful about what we wish for. We must consider. So when I see this, I think this is a place where you must be mindful about your success. You must be mindful about the way that you move into this place of abundance. It will affect aspects of your life that maybe you have not considered. That's not to say you turn away from it, but it is something that I think that it's good to check in with yourself, okay? And I also think it's important for you to protect yourself, you know, just in very basic ways. You know, and I don't know why that comes through to me so much, but just making sure that you, as you do the work, as you begin to, whatever it is that you're doing, where it seems like you'll be making more money in this next cycle or more resources, just maybe being mindful about who you share that with, that information with, okay? It seems like maybe there's an energy kind of lingering in the background of your life where it's like, okay, we don't necessarily want to share with this person or group of people what's going on with me financially, okay? And, you know, I guess I'm just kind of the mind, right? And it's kind of the old school thinking is we just don't share, we don't talk about money, you know, not too much. Not that I have very much to talk about. So it's like whatever. But I think it's a pretty good idea to kind of just be a little bit reserved about that thing, and be mindful about who you let into your personal life, right? Or having information about your personal life. Now, we also have a 7 and a 3. And now we have a phallic symbol here. So this is definitely a sign of fertility. Not necessarily in the physical world. It could be, though. It could be especially if you are in a time in your life where maybe you or somebody is trying to conceive, or will be conceiving, if they're trying or not. But there is that energy. Now we're also coming into the early spring soon, and we will be going into the fall in the southern hemisphere. So we have the beginning of, and now, sowing seeds, beginning to see the beginnings of growth, or it's going into the harvest. Okay. So this is always a time that is greatly fertile. And I think this is all in line with everything else we've been seeing, especially, being able to kind of produce some kind of and, I don't like to always say money, because maybe it's not money. Maybe these are materials or emotional resources, domestic resources. I'm not sure exactly, but there's an influx of and I feel like it is kind of the big thing that comes out of it is that there's a big movement towards stability, feeling a little bit more safe, or having the perception of safety in your life, which is nice. Okay, that's a nice feeling. Okay, let's see. Now we have a person here who's kind of leaning over. We have, again, we have a fish. We have a little heart. We have a heart. We have another fish. So again, another sign of abundance, another sign of kind of, the fish to me is abundance always, and often it is, yes, the the money. So oh my goodness, I just feel like you are doing really well, and I feel like there's a lot of joy here. Now we have a person dancing right here, and I think that it looks quite like a jester, or maybe the fool. And so there is a sense of kind of the being without inhibition to some degree. So maybe you will be going into a time of celebration. But I think more than that, there is a sense of relief from stress. Okay. Now with the hearts here, I don't even think that it's not like, okay, I love the money. I love the money. That's not it. I feel like this has created a space for you to stop worrying so much about the pursuit of resources and that stability, being able to pay the bills and all of that. And I think it's given you a little room to, laugh and dance and, be with your love or court or, hobbies, be with your family, be, wherever your happy place is, and enjoy it for it's just the time that you are able to get away. Okay. Taking a little bit of a reprieve for yourself. And that's a wonderful thing. I think it is most needed. You know, you've been really going hard these last couple of months in the readings. I know, just working very, very hard to get things how you want them in your life, and doing all of the work that entails. I also think that within your career or your work life, or if maybe you're post work and you volunteer or you're busy with family or whatever it is, it keeps you going. You know, you don't have a lot of downtime. So this is going to be a good time to kind of let loose a little bit, I think. All right, let's take a look over here. What do we have? Now we have a bird sitting on a post down here, and I can imagine kind of sounding the alarm, or, you know, wake up. Time to wake up. And so the rooster, and we have there's somebody pointing up at the sky. Right here, you can see right here pointing. I'm looking up there, and it looks like kind of the moon covered in clouds. And there it is, that lunar energy. So I do feel like there's a sense of kind of almost a distorted feeling coming through. And I feel like maybe a low mood coming, but not lasting very long. But I think, again, we have a heart here. So I almost feel like this is related to, I think it's related to maybe like somebody, an ex, or it almost feels like somebody maybe you have a child with, or maybe like a sibling where you helped raise their children, or you were really very present in their children's lives because of one reason or another. But I feel like there hasn't been a great relationship there. And I feel like they kind of come in and out of your life, and this is kind of like their approach once again. And I feel like there's almost kind of a sense of, like your body gets real tense when they come around. You can feel them before they even show up. And I think that this is a time when you start to feel this, like the, preemptive alarm going off. It's a good time to really practice your mindfulness, get yourself fortified and ready, have plans. How are you going to set boundaries? How are you going to exit, disengage if it gets to a point where it just is like, okay, I can't be involved in this, again, this is too much. Or at the same time, what if they're very, very lovely and they're in a better place, and it takes you by surprise, and you're being cautious still. So I think just kind of preparing for this kind of, and it seems like a pretty brief encounter, but I think that it becomes quite emotional for you because, it's tied to emotional things. So look out for that, definitely. And now we have the divine doors. And we're just going to go ahead and flip through here. Ooh, a blue door. Nothing beats a blue door. That's gorgeous. The art of life. There's no sacred light in the aura of an invisible life. Be bold in your skin. Let your Love, dance, and sight. Beautiful. Maybe like that little figure down there dancing. Being bold, being bold. Also, it matches. Perfect. All right. Well, Sagittarius, I'm sorry this is a day late, but you know, sometimes those machine gremlins, they get in there and they just cause havoc. They really do. So anyways, I want to tell you I love you. I am so happy to have spent this time with you. I appreciate that you have shared it with me. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel so much. And if you have not subscribed, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. It's free to subscribe. And if you would like to leave a comment, please do. I read them all. They mean a lot to me. And it's one of my favorite parts of the day. There's a few times I'll check them and just kind of skim through that there's not any of those bots or anything like that. And then I read them and then probably around the time I'm going to bed, I go through and do some of the comments and stuff and, you know, comment back and all that. And I enjoy, it's just a happy time in my day. And look at who came to say hello. Did you get up just in time? You silly. Yeah. All right. Well, we love you. Take care. We will talk to you in a few days. Good night, good night, good night.